Peace, family. It's Chi Vital, aka King Chi, and I'm back with another tool for your toolkit. I'm going to be going into depth about Goddess Saraswati and the secret powers of knowledge. I'll wait for those of you who have your notifications set to link up with me. This is a late night lesson. We are around about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I wanted to review the information that you have been exposed to thus far and just give you more of an application for your self-development. So as you tune in, thumbs up this video. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Shouts out to the HOC. Shouts out to the Dark Lordism family. And definitely shouts out to the Occult College. What up, what up? Jiggays are in the building. Jiggays are in the building. And they know some of the stuff I'm going to touch on today. All right? So I'll wait for you all to get your notebooks together. I especially want you all to listen deeply and be ready to apply these various notes to what you already have. You know, it's always a recipe for success when we get to working together and sharing information. All right? Some of you are not quite prepared yet for all of your rituals because you're still waiting for your Saraswati statues. But this information is going to help you apply the mantras more appropriately and more powerfully. Hence the title, The Secret Powers of Knowledge. Let's discuss some of the reasons behind your homework assignments and ways to choose the right materials for your homework assignments as well. Okay? So let's get to it. I'm in no rush, and that is one of the elements that I've learned from Saraswati when it comes to knowledge and education and being efficient at it. Okay? Efficient at gaining the knowledge and in applying my ability to share it, okay, and disperse information. And I'll get to that. Why taking your time is super important when doing this work, okay? You have begun your Saraswati work with the bija sounds Om and Aim, correct? Om and Aim. And when you were told to chant Om and Aim, although the practice in itself may have felt a bit monotonous at the time, what was most important is that you build up your frequency and your patience to let the sound teach your vibration where it needs to be in order to obtain secret information. How many of you have read a book twice and realized that it wasn't the same book the second time you read it? Press 1 in the chat if that ever happened to you. Thank you, J.A.'s. How many of you have read a book twice and by the second time you read it, it wasn't the same book? Right? Everything that we read and we're consuming intellectually has a deeper meaning. Some of the best instruments for that wisdom are our poets and our artists. When we look at poetry, poetry comes in different forms, whether it's a haiku or it's a full poem, it's spoken word, it's rap. If it's in a song, it's written to a melody, right? There's all kinds of poetry. But the words that are strung together, that draw a picture for the person reading it or listening to it, is not only going to receive a perspective from the artist, but they are also going to add to that artistry their own perception that they brought to the engagement itself. So it's important that you're able to slow down the sounds that are coming into your your mind and into your body, so that you can become aware of the nuances between what is, what you intend to be, and what is just illusionary. Okay? And some of the things that you think are absolute truths will be the illusions, and what is will be the secrets underneath. All right. What we do know is that Saraswati is, hey Angle May, So-So's in the building. What we do know is that Saraswati is the giver of knowledge and power. And they come together. And one of the things that I'm pointing towards as far as patience and being aware of what's going on around you comes from a story where Saraswati really showed her power of words for one of the first times. We just had a new moon. Yes, it was Tuesday, right? We're still in the Leo energy. And what came to mind for me was the heart. Home is where the heart is. The heart for mystics is the center of God, is where God speaks within you. That's where you tune into and tap into your understanding that God is not up in the heavens but exists within you, right? The other aspect of it is that just socially in the spiritual community, when the moon is doing certain things that are more popularized, like it's a full moon or it's a new moon, everyone rushes to be prepared for this event, this celestial event, to do some type of ritual, as if the power is only in the ritual and doing it under this particular celestial lineup. In this story, Brahma wanted to do a ritual for the same reason. And because he felt so strongly that this moment in time was going to be the most perfect time, the most powerful time to get this ritual done, he was very nervous about his wife taking so long to get ready. She was not rushing to be the sitting by his side and the centerpiece, and he knew that he could not be successful without this Shakti energy next to him. And so he was freaking out. And as he called to her to be prepared for this ritual, she refused to be rushed. And in doing so, it allowed for his impatience to reveal itself, what he will be willing to do in order to gain power, regardless of if she was there or not. Okay? Long story short, when she did arrive and she realized that he tried to rush to be prepared, not trusting in the Shakti that she would definitely be there on time, she utilized the time with her power to speak to life various punishments for him and the other gods that participated in rushing their preparation. When you're preparing to receive the maximum benefits and the privilege of being exposed to occult secrets, spiritual power, the bliss of enlightenment, and sometimes the pain of enlightenment, because you realize you've been holding on to something that just doesn't really exist for such a long time, and it's time to let it go, right? When you rush it, you really, really do miss out on the gifts that are going to be ready for you. Another added benefit to slowing down as you chant these mantras which are powerful sounds, is that you begin to learn the secrets behind how to be powerful in manifestation through your sexual arts. We'll talk about that even more so another time. But knowing that it's that important and directly tied together, please put that in your back pocket. That being able to have the patience to sound out the syllables, to listen to your own voice, penetrating the correct spaces in your body for activation is part of the training, it's part of the education. Okay? Saraswati is known as the inventor of Sanskrit. And Sanskrit being this language that it's not the first language, but it's the language that you all are utilizing as musical notes through your voice to bring to life the beautiful pictures of what you want to engage in. You're not just trying to call a deity forth. You are awakening and creating a foundation of that divinity within yourself. You are shifting your vibration that makes you a tool that can play the sounds of the heavens. There are other beings that exist out in the galaxy that can't even see you if you're vibrating too low. They won't visit. They don't know who you are. They don't care to know who you are. You don't exist. But when you start to vibrate and you are eating these mantras by speaking them outwards, you are changing your light body to one of which other stars will recognize stars. You may be made of stardust, but you might be a dusty star whose light is going out. So all you need to do is take the time to feed yourself through the breath, through fine-tuning your instrument, your vocal cords, so that that sound not only penetrates your ears, but it touches all of your bodies that are existing, not just the physical body, but your light body, your vibrational body, your astral body, your subtle body. It's in the subtleties, okay? Let's see. Another thing is, just as a reminder, a nice little tool or trick I like to use in remembering what the power is behind this. For I'm, we talk about affirmations, and everything that follows I am is manifested. So Terrain shared with you all the power of Om and I'm in a sequence of a formula, right? A formulaic mantra. Om, then I'm. Om, then I'm. If you listen to the sound of I'm, so Om brings you to center, brings you to the oneness of the universe so that you can obtain access all parts necessary, right? You want to go to the universal toolbox, the source. This is what I want. You have to align yourself with the Om, right? The I'm, which sounds like I am, is the sound that brings manifestation, brings the idea, the desire that comes from the mind, Brahma, the mind, to life, manifestation through Saraswati. I'm. So this is why in your foundational mantra, you're going to have the Om, I'm, and Saraswati, right? What is another thing I wanted to review with you? This is just really so you understand the importance, and through story form, you can apply it more in your life and remember it, all right, in a functional way. I'm looking at the information that I want to give you as stimulating your entire brain in a functional way, because I want to compare it to training your body physically, right? Um, I've been training with a group, and shouts out to Soulful Joy. I've been training with a group, and rather than doing exercises that follow like a linear path, right? I want biceps, so I do some curls. Or I want my abdominals to be stronger and more trim, and I'm gonna do crunches and. Rather than doing that, I want to do things that I'm gonna be doing in my functional living life, activities for my daily life. So while you are chanting mantras, that's one aspect of training with the sound, okay? But what is so genius about your homework assignment, which is to find something that is challenging to you or brand new to you to study, is where you are finding a way to apply the science and train your brain in a functional way so that you can immediately see the results manifest in your lives. So the best way to choose materials that you're going to study now is not just, okay, I've never read I've never read a quantum physics book, so now I'm going to read a quantum physics book. If you yourself are not interested in aerial craftsmanship, or you're not interested in anything where you're going to apply those higher sciences in particular, you would be wasting your time reading that material, because one, there's not a real passion behind getting to understand it. So two, it's not going to reveal much to you because your heart is not open. We'll get to that because Saraswati also resides there. Thirdly, if you want to be successful in life, it's not about how wide your ability, your knowledge is, it's how deep your knowledge is. So you don't want to have to know like 20 different things. You want to know the one thing or the two things or even the 3 or 5 things, and continue to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. So I would suggest that, for example, if you're an accountant, then now you want to understand depth of numbers, and you want to study things around finances that you once were shy to get into because you really didn't understand it that much, and then you didn't see how it would apply to your practice, but you're in finance. So find yourself in more advanced financial text to read. Sign up for podcasts that are going to challenge your brain and excite you, because you're going to hear new words in finance that you haven't utilized before, that you go and look up. You want to start reading things that inspire you to dig a little further. All right? If you want to get into, let's say you're an esthetician and you're studying, you got your esthetician certificate, you're doing hair, you're naturally talented. Then go into learning the science or the physiology of the hair follicles. You're working with a live organism. Go a little further. Understand really what are the mechanics between the heat and the hair and the weather and the oils. Like, go and find materials that will challenge you to get your level of education to be deeper, have a deeper understanding, so you can actually have deeper conversations with people that will reflect back to you that your knowledge has become power. Because what you know now about what it is that you're getting into, other people cannot compete with you. And that information in itself is going to reveal a whole nother plethora of clientele. It's going to give you access to charging more money for what it is that you do. It is going to help you understand more your connection to what that craft is and why it called to you and you answered. Is that making sense? Is what I'm saying to you making sense right now? Now to the mothers, the fathers, and the students. Okay? We are like 2 weeks away, if that, from school starting. If you don't take any of these lessons seriously, given the times we are in, and we know that knowledge is power, you better take these lessons seriously, because the foundational mantra by itself with Saraswati has miraculous benefits for helping our children and ourselves who are in study to gain good results. So don't bother arguing with your children about what they're doing in school, if they're not applying themselves. If you are part of this community, HOC, Dark Lordism, occult college, no questions. If you are part of this community, the first obligation you have as a parent with children in school and studying is to do your magic on their behalf so that they will succeed. Know that and trust that. And when you're finished doing it, then you can go and talk to your children, but do that part for them. Okay? Do that part for them. Lastly, just a reminder for my folks who are crossing over from being in the indoctrinated world, but just to give you some crossover, right? Divine speech, Saraswati resides over divine speech. And what we know is that words are powerful. You know that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Back to I am. This is why Saraswati is so popping. She reminds you that you are the person who's commanding your word through divine speech. So for all my occult college students, we're going to discuss in depth one of the secrets that have to do with not only divine speech, but intuitive speech. Okay? And why that's important for you to know how to document, listen to, and fine tune. Do y'all have any questions? Do you all have any questions? Oh yes, piensos. Any questions regarding your homework? Any ideas for what you want to study? You know, you might have jumped into. For those of you who study music, if you're listening to one genre of music, you want to listen to a different genre of music, first of all, because you want to open up the neural pathways for how you absorb the sounds that are put together. Neural pathways are the pathways in which the nerves travel, your receptors and your sensory system, and you get the messages. In order to change or get more lines in your brain, right, to show that you've been doing a lot of learning, you're only doing learning when you start breaking new ground. So you're breaking new pathways, right? You want to listen to things that are different. One of the sure ways to strengthen your connection with Saraswati is picking up a different art form. So if you usually paint, pick up some charcoal, pick up some mixed media. If you're doing, and go to the museum, look at it, study that, okay? If you are just straight up like, you don't know anything in particular that you want to just focus on, every single one of you can start to learn a language, learn another language, because that is going to assist you as well. Whatever language you're around, whatever language you are around, because that's going to allow you, it's almost literal, right? You're going to be in your environment where people were speaking another language and you had no idea what they were talking about. And because you decided to pick up a language with the assistance of Saraswati, now you're going to understand what they've been talking about this whole time. And it's going to open up a brand new world to you, not only with understanding, but people appreciating or acknowledging you and being able to see you. The same way, if you master the mantras that are given to you and you create the sounds that those celestial bodies and those beings understand, they'll be like, I see you. They will see you. Okay? Let me see. I have any questions? Okay. Some of y'all, one more idea. One more idea. If you're in real estate and all you know is about how to close it, but you don't really understand architecture and you don't really understand materials, that's another way to add depth to your knowledge, because those are things that can be very challenging to your clientele and it can definitely set you apart. So continue being the best of the best. I love y'all. Peace, love, and bliss. Take care.